All right, so for this video, I thought I'd walk you through creating kind of like a handout that is associated with an article. Okay, so here for this one, I've duplicated this. You could say you put it as a quiz so that you can grade it a bit easier, but essentially it is a handout uh, that is accompanied by an article. So let's say here I have the article already laid out for them. So I will post this to a Google assignment as the reading. And then what I've put it in the past, I've put the review questions right in the article, and that's, I guess, seamless and a little bit better for students to just to go back and forth. However, with grading, it just seemed like it took a bit more time to go through the grading, especially if you attach multiple choice questions to your assignments. And so what I've been doing lately is you just take the questions that you wanted from your handout and you put it into the Google Forms as such. Now for these, you could set the amount of points that these are worth. However, these are the only ones that you're manually going to have to go into the system and grade yourself. However, once students start to post, to answer the questions and then submit the assignment, I'll show you an example here. You go to each individual student, you choose a student that you want to review, and right here, see, for this response, you give them the amount of grade, the amount of points, right? So if there's 2 points, you give them how much they deserve, and if they don't get the full credit, you could give them individual feedback right here that basically you're going to explain why they didn't get the full credit or maybe some piece of information that they're missing. And then the multiple choice questions that you've set, they get graded automatically. So it's an easy point system. And then up here, when you finish going through their assignment, their total score will be at the top here. And then once you're finished reviewing and doing what you need to, there's going to be a save option that pops up. But when you're finished with everything, you could release the score to the student that you reviewed. Now you can go through each student back to back and then release the score to each of them individually, like all at one time. So if you click release, you can, if you've gone through all of your students, you essentially can highlight all of their names and put a little message here, optional obviously, and then you could send them the emails of their score report. All right, and then if you are keeping track of grades via Google Classroom, you could always just take this score and put it, mark it as for this assignment. All right, so in a sense it is easier because in the past what I would do is I would give feedback, to each question as a comment. And here, if they chose, let's say mitosis, and if that was the wrong for this one, the answer is actually A, I would highlight A and then give comments and say, hey, this one is wrong. This is the actual question, and if you want to give them an explanation. But here, once you're starting to put your quizzes together, you could actually, in the answer key, give automatic feedback and as a little explanation so that for each student who possibly gets it wrong, and if you set up the quiz that way, or the assignment that way, they would get that feedback instantaneously. Well, actually, after you release the score, if that is what in fact you're doing with it. Okay, so this is something that I've been trying recently actually, and for a teacher's perspective, it's actually pretty good with the scoring and giving feedback. It's a bit faster and in a sense a bit simpler. You just have to put the legwork in the beginning, when you're creating